Yes, we do. Two named storms out there. Now, another area that's really starting to get our attention here. It's going to stay, we think, well east of Florida. I want to stress this is not going to be it's not going to be Helene or Milton. It's not going to come right towards Orlando, but it could have some impacts here, especially if you live along the coastline. So let me show you the bigger picture right out of the gate here. We still have Gabrielle. In fact, it's churning out here in the North Atlantic. Humberto just formed yesterday evening. It is forecast to become a hurricane, and then the one we're really keeping an eye on here near the island of Hispaniola, that is Invest 94L. So right now the system is still loosely organized. In fact, a lot of the thunderstorm activity south of the center of circulation, and what's going to happen is the whole system just kind of lifts itself across the Dominican Republic and Haiti. We may see a new center form somewhere in south the Turks and Caicos, and that will be the zone where things may really accelerate here in the next 48 hours. In fact, the National Hurricane Center now giving this a 90% chance of development. So a pretty good shot that we're going to end up with a tropical depression, and it will likely move in kind of a northwestward and northerly direction as we head into the next couple of days. And yeah, that area is not terribly far away from the east coast of Florida. Let me show you the computer model plot because we talked about this yesterday. Humberto is not going to be that far away, and so what may end up happening is the two may kind of begin to interact with each other, but it's very difficult to know how that would play out. A lot of the forecast models have come in this morning, though, indicating the Fujiwara effect that we talked about yesterday, where the systems kind of spin around each other. That may not happen. In fact, if anything, Humberto may kind of help swing 94L into now portions of the South Carolina coast. In fact, cities like Charleston, Myrtle Beach, the threat for a landfall there is beginning to tick higher. For us here locally, the question mark is going to be how far east does the system get? The further east that we get, we're going to see pretty minimal impacts. But if the system ends up getting closer and closer to our east coast, there will be more impacts. But the good news is we're going to end up on what we call the clean side of the storm here. So we're not even talking about monster rain event, I think, with this activity, but we're going to have to keep a close eye on things. The other thing that we're monitoring as well is how would these two systems will develop. There's Humberto, there's 94L. And now both the GFS and European indicating we're going to have two separate systems likely. In fact, this is early morning on Monday, and you can see we could have a system not terribly far away once again from the east coast of Florida. Back here at home, it's another warm afternoon, 88 already out at OIA with a variable wind at 6 miles per hour. We are watching some downpours here into parts of Marion County, Northern Lake on early warning Doppler 9. And as we head into temperatures, you can see right now into the upper 80s. In fact, Titusville's already sitting at 90 degrees. We're going to be talking about pretty good coverage of rain and thunderstorms here as we get towards 4 o'clock. Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry will be tracking that. And by 7, still some activity around. Coverage will likely be a little bit higher than it was yesterday. 7-day forecast, weekend always in view. 40% rain chance today. Tomorrow, highs in the low 90s. We'll go down to a 30% rain chance for the weekend. Much more 94L coming up in the next half hour. Darlene?
The cancer survival rate across the nation